First story. Delivery driver gets his karma twice. So this happened a few months ago. I was driving down a small country road with a 45 miles per hour speed limit as some choose to ignore. And coming up behind me was a standard work truck. I won't name names, but it was a popular automated parts store delivery truck. And got right to my bumper. I'm not in a tiny car, but it's a sedan, and he was so close that all I saw was the grille and hood in my mirrors. While I kept going the speed limit, after about 3 minutes he decided that a sharp curve was the perfect time to pass me. And surprise, surprise, there was a car coming after the curve. He swerved at me and I slammed the brakes, nearly missing his bumper. Thankfully I had this all on dashcam, front and back. I got home later and got the footage on my laptop and called her number with his plate number and his truck number. The woman I spoke to was super apologetic, and she asked me to send her the video. She watched it while on the line with me and immediately asked if she could put me on hold. I said yes, and a few minutes went by and she got back and brought me someone else on the line, the local store manager of that driver. She had sent him the video and the manager apologized a ton and promised me right then and there that the employee was terminated for that behavior. A few weeks go by and I don't hear anything till a friend of mine on Facebook sends me a link. The driver that was fired managed to get my name from his HR or manager or something and was trying to find me because he lost his job and made a video wearing his work uniform threatening violence on me because of everything. I went to my local PD station about it and showed them the video and explained everything. I was told I needed to speak to that company again because they let my name get out. I called him and told him everything going on, and I was told I'd get a call from their HR department within 2 to 3 business days. Literally 6 hours later, I received a call from some higher up HR person who was one of their legal team on the phone. They wanted me to sign a document stating I won't publicly go after them or give negative PR if they sue him for me and get a restraining order and everything on this guy for what he threatened. They even offered to have a lawyer of my choice to go over it with me at no cost to me and sign it and have them handle it. Another few more weeks go by and that friend on Facebook, he knows that guy's family or something, said that the dude's mom posted some sub-story that her son is going through some expensive court case that he likely won't win because the other team is over 10 lawyers. So not only lost his job, but then tried to find me only to have his ex-employers sue him. Next story. Karen chooses South over milkshake. I get her fired. So I used to work at this restaurant in a downtown city. Terrible job experience. But it was a job. One day we get slammed. Usually it's because of a game night since this burger place is right behind a baseball field. But this day was different. First of all, I was already angry. Coworker who thought he was a manager showed up an hour late, so I had to open the entire front of the restaurant alone within 30 minutes because people were already waiting in the parking lot. Coworker shows up and I don't say a word to him. Oh well, move on with the day. Day goes on and I come in for my shift. Soccer teams come over after a tournament and I'm talking about 100 players with a line out the door. On shifts like this, some of the kitchen staff had to drop everything and help the other front of house employees, including myself, deliver orders because we're taking orders, cleaning tables, putting orders together, delivering them, serving drinks, I did this when I was 18, and making milkshakes. Customers were great, although the players that came in were so nice and we had no issues. No impatience, no complaints, nothing. Just a nice day. They tipped us nicely as well, so we really appreciated that. I should probably mention at this point that we take DoorDash orders, which is where Karen comes in. For those of you who don't know, DoorDashers are people who are paid by a customer to go get food from a restaurant and bring it to them. We get in our usual rush, and me and 3 other co-workers are obviously multitasking and rushing to keep everyone happy. DoorDash tablet goes off, I confirm it and start prepping the order. Mind you, this included the milkshake. I'm not going to go ahead and make the milkshake because God only knows when this woman is gonna show up. Rest of the order is ready to go and she shows up while we're helping other customers. Let me tell you about this woman. By definition, a Karen. She had the typical Karen cut with the eyes of a freaking White Walker. I'm talking bright blue eyes, obviously fake because they were Twitter logo blue and almost solid. They peer into your soul in a split second. I swear I saw the gates of hell in her eyes. So I'm just going to call her Karen. She starts getting impatient and asks me how much longer it'll be. I apologize and tell her that it won't be much longer and I go to start the milkshake. She starts flipping out at my co-workers and as I'm passing her to get the rest of the DoorDash order, she starts laying it to me. Screaming at me because I didn't have the milkshake ready and that I was costing her tips. The woman was wearing Lululemon yoga pants and had expensive color contacts in. She'll be fine without $3. Sort of manager comes out to talk to her. Let's call him C. C comes out and explains the situation. She doesn't accept what he's saying and starts screaming in front of 200 people about how she won't get tips and how hard is it to make one milkshake. Karen gives us a typical I want to speak to your manager and the manager just so happens to be C. He tells her that he is a manager. He asks her to leave and she continues her rant. Calling C a coward about 5 or 6 times, Karen finally leaves. I'm fuming about this lunatic coming in and making everyone uncomfortable. So I do a little digging. Turns out if you go onto the tablet, you can find the previous DoorDashers who come into the restaurant to get orders. I remember the name of the customer who ordered, so I go onto the tablet to find the DoorDasher's name. I found her name and cell phone number on the order history and information. I got into contact with the DoorDash company and explained the harassment we endured from the Karen. I gave them her name and contact number, saying she was from X city. They tell me they will look into it. They contacted me later and informed me that it was taken care of and we never saw her again. She regularly took orders from us. We all went on our merry way and occasionally called each other cowards on our own little inside joke. Edit. I feel as if I should specify this, but we also got a strongly worded email from this woman stating how angry she was and so on. I mentioned she lost her job because of it and that she knew one of us said something. I mean, duh. Next story. Almost run over my cat and piss on my stoop. Get wrecked. Wife and I were sitting on our stoop and hanging with our kitten outside after a long day at work. 8 p.m. Our kitten is playing in the snow nearby at the edge of our driveway, which connects to the road. Out of nowhere, a Ford pickup speeds by and swerves into our driveway, narrowly missing a very scared kitty. Skinny younger guy jumps out to the driver's side and urgently walks towards the stoop. His back to the road, and he starts to fiddle with his zipper. No way, man. He hasn't seen us sitting there, dark out. So I shout, hoping he won't do it right there and piss at us. I thought he may be a friend of our neighbors at first, cause they are pretty trashy. Hey man, who are you? You need to slow down. Oh hey. He continues to do what he came for anyways, and I notice he is swaying awkwardly. Probably drunk, I think. Look, kids live here. You can't just do that. Now get the heck out of here before I call the cops. Good, call them. I don't care. My wife then says, fine then. I don't have anything better to do at the moment anyways. Wife dials a non-emergency number to the station less than 100 yards down the road and puts it on speaker so the jerk can hear we aren't bluffing. On the phone, my wife tells the police that some guy spit into our driveway, barely missed our kitten and was acting inappropriate while probably drunk. The jerk then said, good, tell them my plate number is X. the wrong plate number. He slurs and stands there defiantly. I walk a few steps so I can see his real plate number and read it aloud to my wife. At this point, the guy seems to slowly realize this is really happening, so he waddles quickly back to the driver's side and peels off down the road, swerving in the snow. My wife is still speaking to the police operator when a police charger absolutely roars by, and what we assume is in response to our call. She ends the call and we resume our night and kinda chuckle it off while reassuring our kitten. The next day we called back to see if anything came of it in the end. Turns out they got him just down the road. DUI. Oh wait, there is more. Underage possession of alcohol, indecent exposure in a school zone, and reckless driving. We caught all the audio on our front door camera and forwarded to the officer in charge. They say it may help tack more charges on and will strengthen others. Good luck to this jerk with no license, a lot of fines and many more charges. Moral is, if someone warns you to move along, you better do it. Also, do not drive drunk, people. Next story. $1 million worth of malicious compliance. I actually finally have a malicious compliance story of my very own. This happened just last night. I'm a mid-level boss for the second shift in a distribution warehouse. Among the many things I'm in charge of, the biggest is billing. I invoice all the orders after they are picked and loaded on trailers to be sent to the customers. Keeping all the boring technical details as small as possible, the billing system is called the ASN. It's clunky, outdated, and absolutely asinine in how it operates. If one single order is missed or has an error, it will crash the system and not put through any of the orders. So one billing error will cause 400 to 700 orders, around 8,000 to 15,000 pieces of product, around 15 to 20 trailer loads. It will cause them to not be billed or sorted to routes or sent. The orders come in 4 batches called POs. So last night we're working on the first PO when the warehouse manager comes to me and tells me that a customer ordered late and they have generated a 5th PO just for their order, but that they are coming in person tomorrow morning and that the day shift will pick it. Only 10 pieces. He tells me when it prints out to just sit it on his desk. Do not pick it or bill it. He will handle it in the morning. I immediately told him that if it's going to print on the second shift POs, then it will be in the system under our ASN, and that if I don't bill it, it will hit the system as a missed order and will crash the ASN. He looks at me indignantly and says, "It won't, because a 5th PO is after hours and will be in the system as the next day's." I tell him that's not how it works. He insists and says just do it. His shift is over and he wants to go home. I give him a hearty yes sir and go about my night. After the order was printed, I set it on his desk as instructed and sent him an email on the company computer stating that his direct instructions have been followed. Normally I'd have texted, but I wanted proof in the company's email. Needless to say, in the wee hours of the morning after my crew was home in bed, the ASN crashed over the missing order and just under $1 million of product was frozen in limbo. No money was charged. No customers received their pre-July 4th orders. My company ate the costs of everything, including the transportation costs, drivers, lumpers, dock workers, pickers, and payroll, and all the other expenses of a large warehouse nightly operations. This morning, the warehouse manager called me, and to his credit, he didn't try to throw me under the bus. Possibly helped along by my email proof. But he's always been a generally upfront kinda guy. He just sheepishly told me I was right, and crap had hit the fan. He's been there forever, so I doubt he'll get fired, but I know he will be walking with a limp after the chewing he took from corporate today. If you're going to run a multi-million-dollar operation on an antiquated goober system, do not argue with the one goober who knows how to make it run.